Welcome to the Formula Masters China Series 2014 from the Sepang International Circuit. Coming up in the show today, we'll talk to last year's champ Aiden Wright about what it takes to jump from the Formula Masters to the Audi R8 LMS Cup. Plus, we'll hear from Bao Jinglong about his development through Porsche Carrera Cup Asia. As always, the series is set to light up the track no matter where it travels to in Asia. And there will be 3 exciting races from all the action here in Sepang. So stay tuned. Formula Masters China Series is an excellent competition in its own right. It's also a springboard for drivers who want to go to other races in Asia or the other parts of the world. Let's talk to 2 drivers who have gone on to other things. Here I am with the champion from last year's Formula Masters China Series, Aiden Wright. Aiden, tell us how you won the series last year.
Well, I had a great team with me, Meritus GP, from the start, so it was quite easy. We had done a lot of testing previously, so we were ready for whatever the team had come to us. It was mainly making sure that I was consistent, finishing every race in the top 3 and just getting points on the board.
What specifically did you learn from Formula Masters China Series that you're putting to use right now?
Basically all the tracks are the same, so that's always good to have the knowledge of all the tracks that we're going to. Shanghai is very technical, and I've been there twice before with Formula Masters, so that gives me a bit of an edge heading into the races.
Build up the volume.
This year I drive Formula Master China Series and the Porsche Carrera Cup Asia. The Formula car is basic for every motorsport car. I learned a lot of skills to drive the car. I know how the car goes, how to finish the race.
The 2 cars are obviously very different. Tell us about that.
Well, for starters, they have a lot more horsepower, so they're a fair bit quicker, and then they have a lot of body roll. Obviously, the temperature inside the cockpit it took me a little bit of getting used to.
The Porsche GT3 Cup, it's not easy to drive. No ABS, no TC control, and the engine is in the back.
I think the younger series are helping to boost the PR work and management for the younger drivers, so the transition is not so great between the 2 series.
Formula car has many young drivers, and these young drivers is very professional.
It's developing all of Asia's younger drivers so that they can push them out into international series. So, yeah, I think it's a great initiative by Volkswagen Group. They're getting into the drivers at a young level, and they're making the steps available so that younger drivers can transition easier.
Welcome back to the Sepang International Circuit. It's the second Formula One circuit the series has visited so far this season. The track is just over 5.5 kilometers in length, 15 turns and 2 long straights joined by a hairpin at the end of the lap. It's so important for these drivers to hug the inside of these turns, especially when setting up a fastest lap in qualifying. Let's see how Meritus GP South African driver Mandela M. Dekhani does it as we take a lap in his car.
Hi, this is Mandela M. Dekhani, racing for Meritus GP. I'm going to take you around the lap of Sepang circuit. Coming into turn 1, down the gears from 6th into 2nd, dusting it around. Corner speed is important in these 2 turns. Into turn 2. Quick point about turn 2. Very sentimental corner to me. Last year in November, I had an accident there which broke my thumb, and I'm now racing with a steel plate and 7 screws holding it together. But anyway, we'll live on into turn 4, down the gears, into 3rd, hugging the apex, let it run out onto the curve on the exit. Down to turn 5 and 6, the fastest corners on the circuit. Flat out 5th gear. Downforce is very important in these 2 turns to keep the car not moving around and hoping you get through the 2 turns as quick as possible. Down into turn 7, 1 gear down into 4th, easing onto the power on the way out. Low moment for me there. Going to turn 9, up the gears into 5th. 50-meter board, down to 2nd gear. Exit of this corner is very important as it's uphill, leading you to turn 11. Round turn 10. Down 1 gear into 4th. Careful not to lose it in this corner. on the run down to turn 12 and 14. Flat out through there, 5th gear. Turn 14 coming up, brake in a straight line, down to 3rd. Get on the power as soon as possible, leading down to the penultimate and last corner. Up the gearbox, 3rd, 4th, 5th. This is also going to be a good overtaking point, lots of slipstreaming going down these long straights. Late as you can on the brakes, down the gearbox, 2nd gear, hugging it tight on the gas. Hope you get out of there, and hope you enjoyed that. That's a lap with me around Sepang International Circuit.
Before we get into all the action here, let's bring you up to date with the series so far with a look back at the highlights from last time out in Korea.
Heading into the 3rd race weekend of the year, James Munro had built up a commanding lead, and even though Matt Solomon was on pole for race 7, Munro passed him into the first corner. Meanwhile, Matt Swanepoel's early season troubles continued, with his spin at turn 4 in a 3-car incident ending his race. After the safety car, Dan Wells passed Matt Solomon for 2nd to set up another KCMG 1-2 at the front. Further back, Akhil Rabindra had a storming drive and moved up into 4th position, having started down in 9th. Bao Jinlong's spin-out towards the end of the race saw a red flag bring proceedings to a premature close, with Munro, Wells and Solomon the top 3 and Rabindra in 4th. The roles were reversed in race 8, with Munro on pole and Solomon in 2nd, but again the 2nd place driver led into the first corner, with Solomon taking advantage of Munro's mistake. Fellow Hong Kong driver Ronald Wu nipped past Rabindra to go up into 4th, just behind Dan Wells in 3rd. And again there was drama at the tight turn 4 on the first lap, this time Yin Haitao spinning out of the race. That's the way it stood until the end, with Solomon taking his maiden win of the season from Munro and Wells. If race 8 threw up some surprises, race 9 was something else. Both Munro and Wells on the front row of the grid were moving at the start, with Matt Solomon tucked behind in 3rd. That made little difference to Munro, as this clash with his teammate Wells on lap 1 ended his race. But with Wells due a penalty for his false start, Solomon was sitting pretty. Meanwhile, Matt Swanepoel's attempt to re-enter the track after a skid was met with firm resistance from Akhil Rabindra, though fortunately both were okay. So while Wells celebrated, his penalty meant it was actually Solomon who took his 2nd straight win, with new boys Anderson Martono and Dharma Hutomo on the podium.
My name is Martin Rakinger, and I think Formula Masters is a very good series to jump into the next categories and to learn as much as you need as a racing driver.
Hi and welcome back. Joining me now is Mark Dreyer. Hi Mark.
Hi, thanks. It's great to be here.
Welcome back to the show. It's great to see the series travel to Malaysia and fantastic to see these young drivers to be racing on another Formula One circuit.
Yeah, that's right, and it's a pretty demanding circuit as well. We have long, high-speed straights. They've got the tight hairpin bends, and we've had hot weather and humidity all weekend long. But now, just moments ago, it's been declared a wet race with this rain just minutes, as I said before, coming down. So very difficult for the drivers to adapt.
Well, it didn't seem to be a problem for one of our new drivers this weekend, Jake Parsons. He's on pole position.
He is. He's Australian, but he's actually pretty familiar with this circuit here in Sepang. He raced here just about a month ago in another competition, and he won 4 races in a single weekend. So he's familiar, as I said, and he certainly proved that in qualifying.
James Munro is still our series leader, but Matt Solomon has been closing the gap with wins in each of the last 2 races. How do you think they will do today?
Well, Matt is another one who's familiar with this circuit here in Sepang. He's tested plenty here in pre-season. He starts on the front row of the grid in P2. James Munro told me he struggled a little bit in qualifying. He's down in 4th, which is pretty unfamiliar territory for him. So it'll be interesting to see how he copes with the race, particularly in these wet conditions. Now, further down the grid, we have the top Chinese driver Yin Haitao in 6th position. We have local boy Dan Woodruff, another new driver for this weekend. He starts in 10th. Star Racing Academy drivers go in 8th, 11th and 16th position. And then another newcomer, German Philipp Hambrecht, starts from the back of the grid after some technical problems just prior to qualifying.
Okay, thanks, Mark. Let's go straight to the race.
Well, the race officials have declared this a safety car start, which means they're off right now for 10 laps. Newcomer Jake Parsons is going to take the lead into the first corner. Huge advantage in this wet weather to be out in front. Then comes Solomon, then Wells, then Munro. Those are the top four as we come here. And that's Munro spinning out early on in the first lap. He manages to recover, but he's down to 6th as a couple of cars pass him there. On board with Dan Wells now in 3rd position, looking to go on the inside of Matt Solomon. But he's spinning as well. His wheels just lock up, but a pretty nice 360 recovers well. Anderson Martono holding off Yin Haitao in the battle for 5th. And they both spin out. Must have been contact around that corner. Treacherous conditions, and that'll end their races. That is Senna Iriwan. He's not getting out of the gravel anytime soon. So Parsons still leads from Solomon in 2nd. Then Wells, then Munro. But Munro diving down on the inside as Wells goes very wide. The Kiwi is going to go through. And where has Parsons gone? There he is in 4th place. He must have had a spin as well. It was clearly his turn. And Mandla Mdekane also out. Can he get back on the track? He can. Back of his car still all over the shop. He's back up to speed, but still losing more position there. See how wet it is. This is Dharma Hutomo cruising around the outside of Pujin Jin up into 5th position after starting in 13th. Tremendous driving. So Solomon from Munro. The battle for the championship almost here. Munro looking to go down the inside. Oh, they touched there. Little skid from Munro. Solomon closes the door. Great stuff between these two. What a battle it's been all year long. Solomon with a little skid. Munro surely he's going through now. But no, Solomon recovers. Wheel to wheel, Solomon still, but Munro still there. Munro pushing hard. And he spins. Oh, this is incredible stuff. Somehow he managed to recover. He's back on the track, but that's going to end his challenge for today at least, with time running out. Matt Solomon just moments away from taking this race. What a battle it's been. Solomon wins race 10 from Munro and Dan Wells in 3rd.
Congratulations, Matt. How difficult was it with the rain coming out right before the race?
Oh yeah, we've expected it all along. Sepang's always one of these circuits where it can rain 1 minute, it can be dry another. So no, actually, I quite like the rain, and always in go-karts, I was always fast in the rain. I love the rain.
So confirmation of the results of race 10. Matt Solomon takes it from the two Cebu Pacific Air by KCMG teammates Munro and Wells. And in the wet conditions, 6 drivers unable to finish this race.
Hi, I'm Ori Richard from Silicon Tech Racing. I'm very excited to see Formula Masters here this weekend. It's a great series for upcoming drivers that want to make a name for themselves.
Matt Solomon won the first race of the weekend. That's 3 in a row for him now. And he's on pole position after setting the fastest lap time in the last race. So championship is getting very exciting. Mark, how do the rest of the cars line up?
Well, Munro, Wells and Chinese driver Yuenbo complete the front 2 rows of the grid. Then comes 5th German driver Philipp Hambrecht. He started from the back of the grid in the first race, but was able to get the 5th quickest lap time. So that's why he's in 5th position. We'll just grab a quick word with him now. Philipp, still getting used to the car, really, new to the series. What's your strategy for this race?
Yeah, it's my 3rd day in the car now. The first wet session was race 1. So no, I'm pretty confident in the dry. We were quick in free practice. Just get a good start and then hopefully be on the podium.
Great stuff, thank you and good luck. Well, next we have a couple of other newcomers, Jake Parsons and Dan Woodruff. They go in 6th and 7th. Further down we have Hua Miao, Star Racing Academy driver, in 13th position. Then at the back, Yin Haitao, Anderson Martono and Bao Jinlong. They crashed out early in the last race, so were unable to get a fast lap time. That's why they start towards the back of the field.
Race Race 11 of the Formula Masters China Series is underway. Yuenbo immediately into third because Dan Wells unable to start after that problem on the formation lap. Solomon looking to lead Munro into the first corner. Here they are neck and neck. Solomon still keeps that inside line into turn one. But Munro could have the advantage here into the second turn. Look at that wheel-to-wheel stuff. Munro goes through, he's in the lead. So Munro from Solomon, Parsons in third. Damahu Tomo looking to nip past Philip Handbrake up into fourth position there. Oh, and a little picnic for Pujinjin and Anderson Martano in the grass there. So Solomon right behind Munro in the lead with Parsons looking on. Solomon makes a move on the inside. Oh, and did they come together there? Munro just having a bit of a skid, but Solomon is through. He's the new leader. That's Yin Hai Tao. He's out. Well, the track has dried, but this driver's still pushing it to the limit. Now Parsons looking to try and get past James Munro and up into second place. Has a look on the inside. He looks to have gone through. No, Munro holds the line, closes the door. Midfield battle here. Yuenbo in the blue car. Mdekane in the red on the right, and Bao Jinlong looking to go past on the, well, now the inside. They both go past Yuenbo, who's down in 9th position, having been third into the first corner. So Solomon comes round to win his 4th race in a row, and Parsons runs out of time to get second place from James Munro.
They made a pretty ambitious dive on him into the last corner, and it paid off.
Nats did quite a late dive on me and saw him at the last minute and had to take avoiding action, so he's probably lucky that we didn't come together.
Jake, you're on podium and this is only your second race. I guess you kind of like this car.
Yeah, no, it's great to drive it. It's unlike anything else I've ever been in before, so definitely having a lot of fun in it, and so far, yeah, it's going well, so I'm happy.
So the same top two as before, Matt Solomon and James Munro, with new boy Jake Parsons completing the podium and the Humpers boys in 4th and 5th. Kwame Meow from the Star Racing Academy in 11th position, and Dan Wells, one of 5, unable to finish the race.
Hi, I'm Alex Young, and I like watching Formula Masters China Series because I get to see the stars of the future.
Wow, another great win for Matt Solomon. This is 4 in a row now. Mark, it's getting really exciting.
It is. Of course, James Munro had all those wins at the start of the season, but the momentum has completely shifted into Matt's hands. He's in pole position, so it's getting very close at the top of the standings now.
And let's not forget Dan Wells. He's on the podium every time. He's in P2 now.
Yes, he is, and I know he was extremely disappointed to be unable to start yesterday's second race because of a technical issue, so he'll be extremely keen to get back into the points again today. Looking further down the grid, we have the top Chinese driver, Bao Jinlong. He starts in 5th position, and I know he's really been trying to improve the mental side of his driving this season. Next to him is another Star Racing Academy driver, Yuenbo. He starts in 6th position. The Humpers drivers go in 8th and 10th. It's been a good weekend for them so far here in Sepang. 18 drivers in all, with Philip Handbrake bringing up the rear of the grid after the problems that he had just prior to the qualifying session earlier in the race weekend.
Okay, thanks, Mark. Let's go straight into the action.
The heat rises on the grid at Sepang for the start of race 12. The all getaway first time. Solomon leads from Wells. Parsons and Munro on the second row of the grid. Solomon's going to hold the lead into that first corner. Parsons looks to go very wide. Let's see if that works. And Bao Jinlong looking to go through on the inside of James Munro up into 4th. Parsons is in 2nd position. James Munro under threat from Damahu Tomo now. Munro going backwards at the start here of race 12. Looking to retake that position, comfortably goes through past Hutomo. Bao Jinlong just up ahead. On board with series leader James Munro now in 5th position. Make that 4th as he goes past Bao Jinlong. Jake Parsons right behind the back of Matt Solomon here, looking for a way into the lead. And this appears to be his favourite corner, going wide here in Sepang. And he's done it. Parsons takes the lead. Incredible stuff from the Australian. Matt Solomon, nothing he can do about that. Now Solomon under threat from Wells in third. Wells looking to go on the inside. Solomon closes the door. Wells having a spin. Can he get back? Yes, he can. Well, that's Monroe going past. So Wells down into fourth position now. Bao Jinlong on the left. Yin Hai Tao on the right. Certainly no team orders for these Zen teammates. Bao Jinlong takes the lead into turn one and through into turn two. Philipp Hambrecht has caught them up, looking to go past Yin Hai Tao. Just finding another gear, it seems, there, and the German doing very well, having started at the back of the grid. Dan Wells has found some good pace. He's caught up Monroe already and looks to be taking him here. The two Cebu Pacific Air by KCMG teammates neck and neck. Yuan Bo in the blue pulls on the inside of Yin Hai Tao. He's gone through, but Yin Hai Tao coming right back around this hairpin. Side by side here, Yuan Bo going a little bit wide and Yin Hai Tao holds firm. Mandla Imdekane going through past Senna Iriwan. Senna on the grass and he spun, nearly hit by Ronald Wu, somehow manages to back away. So Jake Parsons will come round to win race 12. Matt Solomon in second takes another bite out of Monroe's lead in the championship, and Dan Wells in third.
Definitely good to be on the podium, to get some points on James, and I think we're in the best position now to try and strike, so I'm happy.
Now I would like Vice Managing Director.
So Parsons with the win, but Solomon in second, gaining ground on Monroe in fourth. Good drive by Hambrecht in fifth, and Star Racing Academy driver Bao Jinlong in sixth position. Two more SRA drivers in 13th and 15th, and Iriwan and Woodruff not finishing.
Now it's time again to take a look at our Masters Pass of this weekend.
Today's Masters Pass comes from newcomer Philipp Hambrecht, who turns on the turbos to jet past the inside of Yin Hai Tao. So James Monroe still at the top, but his lead over Matt Solomon down to 14 points now, and Jake Parsons up into the top 5 after a great weekend at Sepang. Cebu Pacific Air by KCMG with a healthy lead in the team classifications from Eurasia and Meritus.
Another new race winner in Jake Parsons shows just how competitive the series is. Matt Solomon has continued to close on overall leader James Monroe all weekend, and as we head back to China for the final two races, it just keeps on getting better. See you all soon.